chairman of this session, the other speaker, Sri Gauri, and all distinguished guests and all participants. At the outset itself, we have to think about the terms which we are using. There is a famous quote by Voltaire that if you want to converse with me, you have to define your terms. So when we are using some English terms to explain our idea, I feel, and also Pandit Deendayalji also felt, that we can't convey the real message, the core message to the audience. You know very well that words are the communication bells. Words have to be correctly spelled or correctly told. In our Vedas, the real, correct, genuine meaning of the words gives light to the world, universe, that is being taught. So when we are using nation as a synonym of Rashtra, we have to think very seriously that whether the message is being conveyed properly. Of course, nation word is being, it is a tatbhava of Latin natio word. Natio is being transformed into English as nation. The meaning of natio is a born organic entity. In that way, it is very much close to Rashtra concept, in our bharatheeya Rashtra concept. Natio means a born organic entity. But another thing we have to take into consideration is the usage of the word. Corrupt usage of the words dilutes its density. The message of the inner core meaning will be diluted. That has happened to this word nation. Because the Western philosophers, Western thinkers, social scientists and political scientists, their background, their intellectual environment is entirely different from our concept or this natio concept. They saw nation only after French Revolution or after the formation of the so-called nation states. They are relating this nation entirely with only state governmental apparatus. They can't go beyond the state concept of the nation. So then, whenever they are using nation, it is synonymous to state. So it's a political entity or a material entity for the Western thinkers who developed their thought process in a special intellectual environment. Thomas Middleton, he once said, how many words have suffered corruption since Chaucer's days? How many words? So many words are like that. So many words. Each and every word is being used according to my feasibility or my necessity, need. We are using in our own way. See, for example, secularism. Why I am saying, I am giving the explanation of secularism here. as far as our Rashtra concept or Hindu Rashtra concept is being considered, the secularism shabda, secularism word is also to be understood properly. The Encyclopedia of Science says regarding when defining secularism, they gave a wonderful definition. In the Indian context, you have to hear it properly or understand. Secularism is the philosophical sphere may be interpreted as revolt against theological and eventually against metaphysical absolutes and universals. Then comes the Indian political concept. In the political sphere, Middleton never used India, but we have to think about 1976. In that background, you please go through the next sentence. In the political sphere, it came to mean that a temporal ruler, underline, temporal ruler was entitled to exercise power in his her right. See how secularism is being defined in Encyclopedia of Science. Okay, there are a lot of concept and meaning for it, and we are adding so many of the interpretations to the secularism. It is against the theological nepotism, theological concept and all. Mar Papa, Waisa kiya, iske khilaf. But when it comes to the practical purpose, when it comes to the political sphere, in the political sphere it came to mean that a temporal leader was entitled to exercise power in his right. Almost everything I have told, so much explanation is not needed for a seminar like this. What was the need of the secularism being added to in our preamble? What was the need? Whether it has been demanded, whether it was discussed, whether anything being decided in the parliament? Demand. Who demanded it? It was not demanded. Yes, once it was demanded by a person employed by the first Prime Minister. When the Constitution Assembly has discussed about the Constitution in the preamble, Jawaharlal Nehru's man has asked that secularism is to be included. But Dr. Bhimarao Ramji Ambedkar, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, like towering personalities, they gave a correct reply to that uncalled for demand. They said that in India, in Bharat, is it necessary to say that sun rises in the east? Bharat is always like that. So it is not necessary. If you are saying that secularism, without considering or giving much importance to any particular religion, is that is the concept. It is our inborn thought. It is in our blood. It is in our heart. Right from the beginning. We are beyond religion. So it is not necessary it was decided. But in 1976 it has been included. Without demanding by anyone, without being discussed, without being decided. Who decided? Who demanded? Who discussed? The persons who are entitled to discuss or demand it were in the jail at that time. Emergency period. But it has been added. Okay. So this is a word in which I have told you about Thomas Adelton when he said that how many words have suffered corruption. Secularism is the first example for that. Another example is Hinduism. Ism as a suffix added to a word. What is the meaning of ism? It's a closed book of thought. Can Hindutva be interpreted as a closed book of thought? No, never. But it is being used in that way only. Then we come to Rashtra. As far as Rashtra concept is concerned, we have to say Rashtra only. Concept is concerned, there are three types of Rashtra concept of nation concepts in at least in Bharat. One group of people, political leaders or social scientists, are considering that it is a neo-nation theory, new nation. And second thought is a multi-nation theory. And the third concept is a permanent nation theory or eternal nation theory. It can be translated into Sanskrit as Navarashtravada, Bahurashtravada or Chirarashtravada. Three concepts are there. What is Navarashtravada? It's quite obvious from the very term itself. It can be understood. It can be understood. Everyone can understand it. It is a newly created one. It has been said categorically by our first Prime Minister in his first speech that we are a nation in making. He hasn't considered it as a new nation already made even. He is considering that it is in the process of making. It was never a nation. It is never a nation. As far as the present conditions are concerned, it will not be a nation also. That was in his mind even. I think so. That's why he told, after when thinking about the education and all, he at the first place itself he announced that Sanskrit is a dead language. And the village concept and the decentralized economy or Panjastamba Kalpana of Gandhiji are obscurantist, obscure, the Gyanusi thoughts that he told. In that case, that's why I told that it was never a nation according to Nehru. It is not an, as far as grammatically when you are going through, you can say that we are a nation in making when it is being said that it is not a nation. And through his action he proved that it is not going to become a nation also. So that is Navarashtravada. And another one is Bahurashtravada. Under a state, there are so many nations. Communists are, the left side ideologues are always thinking or talking about this Bahurashtravada. They have got different opinions and interpretations. Just points are needed here only. That's why I am talking only about putting only some points. According to religion, religion is the basis of the nation. So if there are so many religions, there will be, it is quite natural also, there will be so many nations also. On that basis, communist, leftist ideologues supported the partition theory also. That's why P.C. Joshi wrote in his People Was editorial, front page editorial, Muslims, it is an inalienable right of Muslims as independence of India is a right of us all. It was the reason. So religion, they also were thinking in the line of language also. Language is also a basis of a nation. So lingua based nation concept also being propagated by a major group of communists. And someone are thinking that race is a race. One single race is the basic necessity of cause of nation building. Someone are thinking that the state itself, government is the basis of the sovereign state is the basis of the nation. Someone are thinking the boundaries are the basic necessity of nation. There are a lot of things, and if such entities are present in a particular area, they consider it as a Bahurashtra, multi-nations. And Manya Deendayalji, Pandit Deendayalji, and also all our thinkers, nation first, Rashtra first thinkers are thinking that this Rashtra is entirely different from these so-called concepts. It is entirely different. It came into being long years, thousands of years back. Right from the beginning of the history itself, this nation was there, this Rashtra was there. It is here, it will be there. That is the Chirarashtra concept. And each and every point we have to consider also. First concept is religion is the basis. On that basis, Bharata was divided and it was being supported by Congress and Communists and all. On the basis of the religion, Muslim is a different nation. So they are to be allowed to have their own nation. That was the very basis of the Bharat partition. But is it a correct thing? When we are going deeply through the history of the whole world and humanity, we should easily say that never ever, yes, somewhere in the beginning religion may be a small reason. But for the continuance, but for the permanence, religion was never a cause, never a reason for a nation building. Rashtra was not made out of religion. Lot of examples are there. Pakistan was made on the basis of Muslim. Okay, for discussion purpose, we have to think that we don't know about other Muslim nations, Iraq or Iran. At least Pakistan we know. How Pakistan was divided then again? Bangladesh was also Muslim. Pakistan was also Muslim. Why they fought each other? If religion is the basis of one nation concept or nation formation, Bangladesh would not have been formed. Why Iran and Iraq are fighting? Why in the whole world these type of atrocities among Muslim community or Christian community? All the two world war which we faced in the modern era was in between Christian community, Christian nations. Whether they may be Catholics or Protestants, whatever it may, they fought each other. Both of them are considering Jesus Christ as their Paigambar, their prophet. Both of them are considering Jehovah as their God. But if religion is the basis of the nation, the whole Christian states, Christian countries should come together and it would have been formed into a nation. So, religion can never be considered as the basis of the nation. One race, it's also not necessary. One race, one nation, it will not be formed into a nation. I will come into details afterwards. One language, is it necessary? There are a lot of examples to be given. Lot of examples. The so-called nations which are strong going ahead in the whole earth, whole world, there are a lot of languages prevailing there. For example, Spain. And even other nations are also before us. Those who are strong, having different languages. Those who are not that strong, having only one language. England. We can't say that it is a strong nation in the real sense of the word. They are speaking English. But there are a lot of differences in between them. They are not ready to go ahead on the basis of one language. Common economic relations. It also will not help to make a strong, well-knit Rashtra. Someone are saying that foreign oppression and liberation from foreign oppression will create a feeling to become a nation. That was the theory behind Nehruji's thought, actually. Oppression by a foreign rule, slavery, and liberation from it, independence from it. It also doesn't hold water, actually. There are a lot of such points which are being raised by the theoreticians or ideologues of those persons who are raising this Bahurashtravada or Navarashtravada. But our thought is entirely different. We are thinking about the Deendayalji's Rashtra concept or Bharatheeya Rashtra concept. Deendayalji says in the Deendayalji's Ekatma Manava Darshana, in his third speech, he emphatically stated that Rashtra is an organic evolution. It's an organic evolution. It is not a material construct. It is a spiritual evolution. What is the main cause, reason behind this natural, organic evolution of the nation? I to we. I is not always a private, special, a singular concept. It is an organic concept, it is being developed into we also. Okay. He says, the goal which is being put before the people is the main reason for the nation building. Rashtra concept. One goal is necessary before them. And accordingly, to fulfill that goal, or to fulfill that particular mission, a strong will is being made out of it itself. That people, in front of them, one particular spiritual great goal is being placed or evolved, and to fulfill that great goal or mission, a great strong will is being produced. And an urge to fulfill that great mission. These are the basic causes, reasons for the Rashtra concept. This Deendayalji's concept or Indian Bharatheeya concept of Rashtra is being corroborated, is being supported by so many. Supported means those people who lived before Deendayalji also. So many thinkers, even in Western nations also, they also spoke in the real terms. See, Joseph Mazzini, his definition about the nation, Rashtra, popular will is the basis of nationalism. Nothing else. He always says, it is not necessary to have even a land even. Popular will, Janakiya Ichha, that alone is needed. Arnold Toynbee, he also defined it very well. The will to be a nation. Again, that concept, Deendayalji also said, a goal is being placed before them. That concept has not been elaborated or described in Mazzini's book or Toynbee's concept. But Deendayalji went one step further, I would like to say. Arnold Toynbee said that the will to be a nation is the principal element of nationalism. Will to be a nation. I want to be a nation. When we are thinking about the Srishti, we used to say that Evoham Bahusyamaha. That's a will. Will of the primordial strength, primordial Shakti, the Brahma. Brahma wants to become Savara. I am one, I want to become Savara. In that way, this popular will is the main thing. What about Dr. Ambedkar? Ambedkar was the greatest protagonist of our this Rashtra concept, Deendayalji's Rashtra concept. He said, nationalism is a feeling of corporate sentiment. Corporate sentiment. He used a term which is palatable for the modern community. Corporate sentiment of oneness. Of oneness. Which makes those who are charged with it feel that they are kith and kin. Mata bhumi putroham prithviyaha. Veda says. The same thing Ambedkar in English language, he put very correctly, nationalism is a feeling of corporate sentiment, of oneness, which makes those who are charged with it feel that they are kith and kin. The most apt definition and the definition which gave correct answer to the so-called Bahurashtravadis and Navarashtravadis has been made by none other than Ernest Renan. Renan's statement, nation is a spiritual principle. It's a spiritual principle based primarily on a rich heritage of memories. See how clearly he has stated. It is a spiritual principle based primarily on a rich heritage of memories and a keen desire to live together. He put almost everything in that small sentence. And again he is elaborating. People are a nation because they want to be a nation. What which Mazzini, Arnold Toynbee, Dr. Ambedkar all said, Renan was also of that same opinion. A nation, people are a nation because they want to be a nation. A nation is a soul. Again coming to the Adhyatmic interpretation of Rashtra. Nation is a soul, a spiritual principle to have suffered, rejoiced, and hoped together makes a people a nation. Hoped together, suffering together, and rejoiced together. That's a nation. And again, he is giving answers to those race theory, language theory, land theory, state theory. What constitutes a nation is not speaking the same tongue. It is not necessary. All the people should speak in one language. Then only it become a nation. It has not been mentioned everywhere, it has not been corroborated, has not been seconded with historical facts. When he is saying what constitutes a nation is not speaking the same tongue or belonging to the same ethnic group. Race is also not necessary. But having accomplished great things in common in the past and wish to accomplish in future. This is the great memories, and on the basis of that a spiritual principle transformed into the soul of the nation, that is defined by Renan. So all these theorists, so many other ideologues, thinkers have also said in this way. But in the modern time, when I am again going back to the people or the thinkers who are against this spiritual concept of Rashtra, they interpreted it in another way and they want to make it on the basis of mere material concept. And they want to put it in a political manner. Everything related to nation, Rashtra, is related to the political material concept only. And so there are a lot of differences of opinion have been created in the modern age regarding nation. A lot of confusions has been created. There are four main reasons for these confusions or the difference of opinions. One, the first thing which we have discussed, that is word, the inadequacy of words as transmission belts of social communication. Proper words are not there to use it. Second, the varied implication of nationalism in different times and different areas and different leaders. Varied implications. 3. Changes in the connotation of nationalism with the course of history that I have already talked. 4th, nationalism means different things to different people. So because of this, somewhat infusing these type of thoughts in the popular parlance and creating confusion, and we are not able to come to a conclusion in a way to go ahead. Taking all this into consideration, Pandit Deendayalji clearly explained how Rashtra is formed, how it is being formed. First of all, he spoke about the intellectual aspects of the whole universe and the development, the history of the whole Vadas and all. And then he comes to I. In the second speech, he comes to the I, person, Vyakti. In the third, he elaborated about we. In the we can see the Rashtra concept or Dharmarajya concept of Deendayalji. He used to say, I means person, individual, which is the product or amalgamation or the combination of body, mind, intellect and soul, Sharira, Mano, Buddhi, Atma, is not limited to a singular I. It is not related to a singular I. But the Western thinkers always think all these things in that pattern only. They are thinking everything as individual at the center point. But we are thinking, Deendayalji put these thoughts before us, this inseparably related to the plural we. I is inseparably related to we. I is being developed or evolved into the society. I is not an alone thing. He can't live so. I is being organically developed into his next level of evolution, that is family. In Western concept, I is there as the center point and there is a circle overlapping it without touching it, not related to it. There is another concept, another entity, that's a family. And always there is a binary in between I and this family. There, in their concept. But here, from I is started and it is being developed or organically it is being evolved on the basis of the spirit behind it, soul behind it, it is being